How have you been doing? Are you okay? Do you feel a connection to being okay? Do you feel a connection to just being? Just being. Just being. No need to go anywhere, no need to do anything, no need to think about anything, no need to be anyone. Just a kind of natural peace, natural freedom. That you really don't need to believe anything right now. That there's nothing that you feel like you need to believe in right now. You don't need to be against anything right now. Or do you feel that way or not? And that you don't need to be for anything right now. Not needing to be for or against anything. Not needing to do anything or not do anything. Not needing to say anything or not say anything. Can you feel that? Can you feel that natural meditation? Just letting the eyes close. Letting the eyelids fall. And breathing in everything. Breathing as everything. With all that energy and attention that generates inside with that feeling of breathing, that peaceful, rich energy. Breathing in, giving out, giving away, not holding on to anything, not even holding on to peace. Not even hold on to things feeling good. But give away all the feeling. Give away all the holding on to whatever feeling is there now. Whole body relax. Whole mind relax. Let that attention in the body, that you in the body, sometimes it's like anxiety, stress in the body. Give attention to that, relax that, and then give it out. Give out the localization of yourself in the body. Give it out to the whole environment, to the couch you're sitting on, to the chair you're sitting on. Let the eyes close so you can be in spaciousness, uncontained. It's like Superman and kryptonite. Where can your mind be contained? Are we supposed to believe that the superpower of the mind is trapped in the brain by the skull that's made of kryptonite? No, that's ridiculous. Our mind is out there as much as our mind is in here. You may have a relationship with someone, like I have a relationship with my wife. If my mind is not over there with my wife, then where is it? The mind is not trapped in the body. So bringing attention inward to feel, to experience the body, the mind inside, relax it. And then drop this whole structure of clinging, of tension, of contraction in the body. Widen it out, give it out, spread it out. Free it out. Free it all out. Give it all away. Whatever it is, give it away. Even giving away. Don't let anything be a kind of intellectual trap, something for you to think about. Sense of peace, relaxation, profound freedom. Something really enjoyable. It's almost like meditation opiate. But without all the side effects of heroin and things like that. Give a chance for that silence to speak in terms of your ego and your identity. You know, people who don't have a relationship with silence, they tend to be quite disgusting, vile, problematic people. The older they get, the more disgusting they seem to get. So that relationship with silence is our relationship with God, with the ultimate, with the true nature of reality. So don't minimize it in any way. When you don't have a relationship with silence, it's like you stink really bad. But you don't know that you stink. So you're walking around kind of obliviously smelling like shit. But everyone else around, they can smell it. The whole world can smell it. Listening to that silence. That voice inside the mind that says absolutely nothing. Not adding on thoughts to the feeling itself. Not adding on thoughts to the hearing itself. Not adding on thoughts to the seeing itself. Not adding on thoughts to what is experienced, breath by breath, moment by moment. that real silence, that true silence, undeniable, experiential. Kind of losing yourself, losing your ego, losing your story. And hey, if you got a great story and a great life, good for you. Maybe you don't need meditation. Maybe you don't need the silence. Maybe you don't need the healing. But for me, I need more peace. I must have more peace. I demand more peace. I demand more clear-mindedness. I demand more full-heartedness. That attention that we look for outside, meditation is the way to give us ourselves that attention. And to receive that attention not just from our small self, but from God, from the Buddha, from reality itself. As if someone was cutting you with a blade. As if someone was harming deeply someone that you loved. As if you were being tortured, literally. So this is the remembrance that we bring up of the ego reality, the reality of self. This rotting corpse that we call a body, that we have so much pride in, that we take so much joy in. Thinking about the body being opened up with a razor blade, the intestines, the liver, the heart, the blood vessels, the bones, all of these vile, disgusting liquids, feces, pus, blood, milk, all of that pride and arrogance, let it be dissected, let it be autopsied, let it be cut open and revealed for what it is. Relax the anus. Relax the whole body, the whole mind. Don't ever depend on anyone else to control the environment for you. You have to control your own environment. Don't blame the environment for being a certain way. You have to learn how to work with your mind to make your mind be the way that you want it to be, regardless of what the environment is doing or saying. That silence is very, very real. As real as death. As real as your death. When we are practicing meditation, entering into and experiencing the mind, don't make it more complicated than it already is. Breathe. Breathe and be with the beating heart. Breathe and be with the experience of the body. Ground the mind in the body. Bring the mind home to the body. Nowadays, a lot of people don't even remember that they have a body. Talk about believing in God. They don't believe that they have a body. That is the level of disconnection that we find nowadays. So this is a time to plug in our power source, to plug in our healing source of the mind coming home to the body. Give the body the attention it desperately needs. So much ridiculousness of intellectual making things up. Making up all these stories and assumptions and narratives and just total bullshit. The body can help. Body can humble us. We can be humbled by the pain in the body. We can be humbled by the visceral reality of the body. Just stop. Shut up. Breathe. Breathe and give, breathe and donate the attention of the mind, not onto YouTube, not onto TikTok, not onto nonsense political ideas and ego stories, but rather donate the time of the mind onto the experience of the body, here and now. Each and every experience of breathing, each and every experience the heart beating, the body being. contacting stillness, receiving stillness, giving stillness. There's no fucking bullshit complications to be applied here. There's no whining. There's no ego discussion. There's no right or wrong. There's no this or that person. Return to the source of sound and things. That is spacious silence. Absolute silence. And this silence is just as real as beheading someone who speaks against the king with a blade, with a knife, with a sword. There's no games. The king is the king. Silence is silence. Noise is noise. Freedom. With or without the blade. Just freedom. When we're watching the great TV series or the great movie, at that time we care about those characters in that movie, especially if it's a good movie, more than anything else. But we don't really care about characters in shows, in stories, in movies. The stillness of the body, this willingness to give, to donate our mind's attention, to experience what's happening now in the body, allows us to enter deeper into the mind. This is what authenticity is about. This is what genuineness is about. This is what reality is about. The deepest possible relationship that you can have with your own mind is not in pretending that you are a character in a story full of constant distraction, constant pleasure seeking, and constant bullshitting. Come home to the heart. Come home to the wisdom of the lungs breathing. Come home to the body in stillness, here and now. If you're still trying to justify some position, some understanding with words, it means that you don't know how to properly meditate. It means that you don't understand what to do. The deeper mind, the deeper experience of being real here and now has nothing to do with thoughts, has nothing to do with words and phrases, and it never will, never will. Just breathe and feel. Breathe and relax the whole body and mind. And open the doors of the body and mind. Open all the pores of the body and mind. Fully internally and externally receptive and open to everything. Real meditation, real connection with silence, your own experience here and now. Being with the stillness, being fully with our own experience in the here and now. Feeling the heat and being more fully with the heat. Instead of going to the next thing, instead of trying to distract, instead of trying to justify some certain kind of thoughts or actions, this is the place of no justification. Real meditation is being really ready to die. Sit there and be ready to die and accept death. Not by force, not by control, not by hope, simply the reality of death, the reality of impermanence for yourself, for your ego. True meditation is nothing more than being ready to die right here and right now, with every cell in your body ready to die, ready to go, ready to disappear. Okay. Enough is enough. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay. How is your meditation practice? Any good? Any feeling of success in your meditation practice? Good. Help is most oftentimes not money related. Children, for example, need more help than anyone else in the entire world. And yet the help for children has nothing to do with money. If a child is crying for help, money isn't going to be the solution. Well, we have to be willing to talk about it if we want to determine if it's stupid or not, right? You and the people that are close to you are the greatest victims of your disingenuousness. You being disingenuous to me is just an expression of the disingenuousness that you carry in your heart. It has nothing to do with me. Now, I've been going through a process. I've been going through a healing process. Some people may have known that I injured my back recently, and I've taken steps away from my work in the past couple days so that I could go through a healing modality that my wife was supporting me with. And it was intense. It was difficult. But I'm now feeling that the development of the health of my back is proceeding as it should. And I'm hoping that there will be more healing in the near future as well. That's correct. Oh, most definitely. Money is very useful. Money can be very, very useful. But it can also be problematic if you don't know how to handle it. If you don't know how to detach from money or to use money without attachment, then it can be more and more problematic the more and more that you have. Money, especially for poor people, can be very problematic for themselves. With wealthy people, having money is less problematic for themselves. It's more problematic for the world. For poor people who don't have money, but really, really want money, now you don't have what you want. You think wanting it can get it for you, and you think that when you have it, that will be the solution. So at least the wealthy people, they're not upset that they don't have it, and they don't think that trying to get it can solve their problems because they already have it. So wealthy people are a little bit more in a blessed situation than the poor people when it comes to money, in terms of internal processing, if we have that attachment to money. I've been watching a lot of content recently while I was in my healing modality. Content about Wings of Redemption, content about Boogie 2988. Are you ready to duel? Yu-Gi-Oh! Shiva, would you like to come and participate in the show? Or I think you're on your way to India, aren't you? I'm sensing a very low spiritual level from the general environment here. All of the people commenting, I'm sensing a very low spiritual level. So please consider, if you're someone of the low spiritual level, please consider to make a donation, not just sit in here yapping. Okay, this isn't a place for you to yap nonsense. This is a place for you to donate. This is a place for you to volunteer. This is a place for you to practice meditation seriously. This is not a yap town meeting. okay? And you will have your capacities removed to yap in a very short order unless you make a donation, okay? How about that?
I will first say in Russian to refresh my mind, then I say in English. Я хотел бы задать вопрос. Что делать, если я человек, которому сложно концентрироваться, и мой ум постоянно носится туда-сюда и не может усидеть на месте? Я сам по себе человек энергичный. С помощью силы воли я могу удерживать минут 10-20, но потом снова и снова тачу. А увеличивать время я не могу. Так уже 4-й год. So the meditator is telling that he is a person for whom it is very difficult to concentrate, and his mind constantly jumps from one place to the other, and he himself is a very energetic, very active person, and he tries to use his willpower to stay in his meditation practice, and he can continue like that 10-20 minutes, but then again and again the mind becomes very hectic and it jumps. He would like to increase the time of his meditation practice, but he cannot, and it's been lasting for up to 4 years already like this.
Do you know his job?
Ты знаешь о его работе? No, I don't have any other details. We know that he has been practicing for 4 years like this. Он практикует 4 года так.
Do you know which method?
Ты знаешь,
Vipassana
каким
or
методом
samatha?
випассаны или самата он пользуется? I understand that samatha, because he talks about concentration. Я так полагаю, что самата, так как он говорит о концентрации ума.
If
Если,
he is working and staying
если он работает и пребывает
in the city,
в городе,
he should
то ему следует
practice
практиковать
Vipassana meditation.
медитацию випассаны.
Samatha is
Самата
better to practice
самату лучше практиковать
in the forest
где-то в
or
лесу
in a special separate meditation center.
или в каком-то отдельном медитационном центре.
So you heard it here, everybody. I mean, this is about as clear as day. We're in the city. We're in bullshit town. We're in honk and tonk and lonk and jonk and monk and bonk and donk and donk and donk and donk and donk and donk world, right? So you all have to learn how to practice Vipassana. You need to come here and know how to practice Vipassana. We're not talking about sitting down and crossing our legs and having a good old-fashioned time, deep and peaceful meditation. We're in the city. You live in the city. You live in the world of entertainment, the world of stimulation, the world of avoidance and seeking. Don't try to bullshit me. Don't bullshit a bullshitter. This Vipassana, Sayadaw is espousing here clearly, directly.
I myself started
Также
practicing
я начал практиковать
in the big city
в
Yangon
большом городе Янгона.
as a business
Тогда
owner.
я был владельцем бизнеса.
That's why I choose Vipassana
Поэтому
rather
я
than
выбрал метод випассаны,
concentration.
а не концентрацию.
Besides, he may
Кроме
practice
того,
by himself.
возможно, он практикует в одиночестве. I guess so, because from his message I understand that his experience is not from the retreats. His experience is from self-practice as a working person. Я полагаю, да, что он практикует сам по себе, а не описывает опыт из ретритов. Он, видимо, рабочий человек и занимается практикой. Can we explain then how it is vipassana and not samatha in the busy life? Можем ли мы описать, как же заниматься випассаной, а не саматой в нашей занятой жизни?
Vipassana is
Випассана заключается в том,
mindfulness with detachment
чтобы была осознанность с непривязанностью.
on every present
Осознанность на каждом настоящем
happening and doing
происходящем и том, что делается
of ourselves and the others.
нами самими или же другими.
Now there is the sound of the Vietnamese.
Сейчас мы слышим звук вьетнамцев, с которыми мы вместе.
There is attachment in our mind,
В нашем уме существует привязанность,
concern with the
связанная
seeing,
с Тем, что мы
sound,
видим, слышим,
smell,
запахом,
taste,
вкусом,
touchness, and knowing.
прикосновениями и сознанием.
Because of
Потому как
the attachment,
эта привязанность,
when there is sound,
тогда, когда происходит звук,
the present mind used to pay
ум
attention
настоящего момента привычен, чтобы уделять внимание
automatically.
автоматически.
In practicing Vipassana meditation,
В практике медитации випассана
as soon as there
как
is
только появляется
knowing the sound,
знание о звуке,
another knowing, another knowing of disappearing,
следующее знание об исчезновении,
passing over, finishing,
о том, что проходит, заканчивается,
should follow.
должно произойти.
Besides,
Кроме того,
that another knowing
это
itself
другое
is
знание само по себе,
finishing or
оно тоже
disappearing.
завершается или же исчезает.
Present mindful mind
Ум
about
настоящего момента в осознанности
disappearing
о том, что что-то исчезает,
is also disappearing.
он сам тоже исчезает.
This is changing the object
Это
of knowing.
изменение объекта в нашем осознании.
Whenever there is one new knowing,
Когда бы ни происходило какое-то новое знание,
knowing the truth of disappearing,
знание истины об исчезновении,
finishing should follow.
должно закончиться.
All these disappearing,
Все это исчезновение,
passing over,
все, что проходит,
finishing,
заканчивается,
are selfless impermanent nature.
все это бессамостная природа непостоянства.
Cause and effect of
Причина и
ever-changing,
следствие
selfless impermanent nature.
вечно меняющейся, бессамостной природы непостоянства.
Both of body and mind
Оба, и ум, и тело,
are selfless impermanent nature.
являются бессамостной природой непостоянства.
Not something,
Это не что-то.
not mine, not yours,
Это не мое, не твое,
not someone.
не чье-либо.
No I, no
В
you,
этом нет я, ты,
no man, no woman.
ни мужчина, ни женщина.
No human, no animal.
Также нет и человека, нет и животного.
The more we are
Чем больше
knowing like
мы
this,
знаем таким образом,
there will be less and less
будет меньше и меньше
attachment
привязанности,
concerned with our normal knowing.
связанной с нашим обычным знанием.
Only when we are skillful in
Только когда мы уже умелы в том, чтобы
knowing the truth of
знать истину,
disappearing, passing away,
исчезновение, прохождение, заканчивание,
finishing, ending,
все, что заканчивается, уходит.
there will be more and more clear understanding
Тогда будет больше и больше четкого понимания
about selfless impermanent
о
nature.
бессамостной природе непостоянства.
This is the practice of
Это практика
stabilization and purification of the mind.
стабилизации и очищения ума.
Now your mind is not stable and pure.
Сейчас твой ум не стабилен и не чист.
Your mind is uncontrollable.
Твой ум не подлежит контролю, неконтролируем.
Greed, anger, and delusion are controlling your mind.
Жадность, злоба и иллюзия контролируют твой ум.
Well, that part is pretty simple, and that's going to be a part of any kind of program, right? So it can be a little bit painful to study. It can be a little bit painful to exercise. Doing anything can be painful. So you have to endure that pain to keep going in that direction, right? Trying to go in that direction, right? The enduring pain that is the specialty of Buddhism is enduring pain in stillness and actually looking at and examining the pain. So can you do that? Do you want to do that? Are you willing to do that? Is that what you want to do? You know, that's up to you if that's what you want to do or not. This is a space where you can do it. It's not complicated. Not a big deal, not complicated. But to sit here and feel pain and not go anywhere, that's a little bit difficult, isn't it? That's not easy to do that. Because when we feel that pain, we want to get away, we want to run away. I don't want to feel the pain. I want to feel the pleasure. And if you're not the funny, entertaining man, then I don't want that. Okay? Of course, everybody is welcome here, but the best thing that we can do here is to feel our pain. To develop our relationship with pain is to develop our capacity to be free of pain. That's right. Moment by moment, going into the subtlety of direct experiencing in stillness rather than in motion. There's already all kinds of motion going on. Already all kinds of motion going on. Well, look at this. Our memberships are really going through the roof. W's in the chat for Shelley with 10 Monk Life Meditation gift memberships. How great.
Vipassana meditation is
Медитация випассаны
changing the controller of the mind.
меняет контролирующего ум.
The mind. What do we say? The mind is a clear blue sky. The mind is a clear blue sky. Clouds come, clouds go, but the mind is a clear blue sky. The mind is a clear blue sky. Worries come, worries go, but the mind is a clear blue sky. The mind is a clear blue sky. Thoughts come, thoughts go, but the mind is a clear blue sky. Now, is that always how it feels? Or sometimes, is there a tummy ache inside of your brain? Who here knows what a tummy ache inside of their brain feels like? That's the tummy ache of anger. We're angry. We're frustrated. Oh, I forgot. Everybody here lives in this like pure, sycophantic, retard world of ultimate light and freedom where everything is perfect and everything about them is perfect and they're just so satisfied with life, and they're so fantastic, and now in their free time, because of how great their life is, they take time out of their day to look down on other people and to spit on other people and to bring negativity into their world, into the world from their total positive absolute light experience, right? I forgot about that. But for some of us, for a very small group of us, right, actually, sometimes there's a tummy ache in the mind of anger. Sometimes there's a tummy ache in the mind of greed. Sometimes there's a tummy ache in the mind of delusion. Now, as Westerners or as Americans, and just generally, we don't believe very much in delusion, right? Because if we think it, we know that it's true. All our thoughts are true. All of our perspectives are true. All of our views are true, right? So there's no such thing as delusions, right? You never have delusions. You never have a thought that's not true. You never think or believe something that's totally not true. Every thought that you have is 100% true. Your mind is like a proton laser of truth. Always exact, always precise, always 100% on the mark, right? And then as Westerners, as Americans, we don't believe in greed, right? So greed is just good. So we can't be greedy. We can only be more skillful in getting what we want for ourselves and not helping others. But what we do know about as Westerners, right? We do know about anger. So do you ever feel angry? Do you ever feel frustrated? Do you ever feel anxiety? So in that way, you have to be willing and able to recognize that and be humbled by that. These afflictions, these defilements, these negative qualities of mind. And oftentimes our normal way of operating that we think is like, I'm basically a NBA LeBron James combined with Albert Einstein, combined with Donald Trump, combined with made out of gold and crystals. I'm the super perfect person of my life, of the world, 100%. Don't worry about it. I've got it under control. But actually, sometimes when we feel that way, our mind is actually being controlled by greed, anger, and or delusion. Delusion is a really difficult one for people that don't believe in mindfulness or awareness and people that don't believe in their own faults. Right? So it's like impossible for them to think that something's true. Because what they think is already totally true all the time. Their thoughts are the fundamental law and words of God. So naturally, that's Buddhism has a different view about it.
By practicing Vipassana meditation,
Практикуя медитацию випассана,
there will be less and less greed,
будет все меньше и меньше жадности,
and finally no more.
и потом ее вообще не будет.
Only completeness of the mind will
Только
remain.
полноценность ума останется.
There will also be
Также
less and
будет
less
меньше
anger.
и меньше злости, злобы.
Finally, no more anger.
И потом вообще не останется злобы.
Only compassion or
Только сострадание,
loving kindness
любящая доброта
will still remain.
будут все еще оставаться.
There will be less and less
Тогда будет все меньше и меньше
ignorance or
невежество
not understanding
или же непонимания
or wrong understanding.
или неверного понимания.
Finally, nothing at all.
И в итоге вообще ничего.
Only right understanding
Только верное понимание
or enlightenment
или же просветление
will still remain.
останется. So how about using, probably if the person can understand or not, that the condition of the mind now is unstable and jumping, to explain how to use this already habit of the mind from the point of view of Vipassana.
Detach. Now you are knowing
Сейчас мы знаем,
unstable mind.
что есть нестабильность в уме.
Whenever there is knowing,
Когда происходит
unstable mind,
знание, что есть нестабильный ум,
knowing mind about selfless impermanent nature should follow.
знающий ум о том, что это лишь природа непостоянства, которая бессамостна, должен последовать за тем знающим умом.
You just need to practice like this, in this way. There will
Тебе
be
стоит продолжать практиковать таким образом,
more and more improvement.
и
for
тогда
sure.
все будет больше и больше улучшения. Thank you.
This is simple but really
Это
powerful.
просто, но на самом деле имеет мощь, имеет силу.
If you are difficult to practice by
Если тебе
yourself,
сложно самому практиковать таким образом,
you should listen
то
this.
нужно слушать,
You should listen this teaching
следует
or
слушать это учение или же
other teaching
любое
of
другое
me.
учение, которое я даю.
More and more.
Все больше и больше.
Even if you don't
Даже если
understand
ты не понимаешь
the meaning,
значение сказанного,
you can understand
ты
more and
можешь
more.
понимать все больше и больше.
The difference your mind and my mind.
Ты можешь понимать все больше разницу в твоем уме и моем уме, то есть уме учителя.
So we can all be useful in different ways. The unskillful person can be useful in a certain way. The skillful person can be useful in a certain way. The person who gets it can be useful in a certain way. The person who doesn't get it can be useful in a certain way. We're really talking about something that's outside of our normal understanding and our normal way of looking at things. It's something that can't be explained to you. Out of habit, the mind that has currently been developed through TikTok, through YouTube, through constant consumption of media, it has trained the mind that you can understand anything because you're getting all these different things in front of you that are easy to understand. And now you're relying on this understanding mind to operate. But if you use your mind to understand reality, you won't understand reality or your mind. If you use reality to understand your mind, you will understand both your mind and reality. If you are not willing to be okay with not understanding, then you can never truly understand not understanding. And if your claim, and maybe this is like the Western claim, like the Western religion of ignorance, is this claim that I am God. You go into a situation you don't know anything about. You come into a context you don't know anything about. You're confronting something that is new to you, and yet this proclamation is made unconsciously, subliminally, I am the authority here. Why would you be the authority here? On what basis is your authority here? In what basis is your understanding of what's happening now? What is it based on? What is it based in? We welcome old friends, we welcome new friends, but this isn't to find some people in particular. This is for the people who would like to be here, who are looking for this kind of thing. We can pretend all we want, but we can't pretend to ourselves. No one has to deal with your mind more than you. You always have to remember that. And so trying to put out this false presentation that our mind, our opinions, our thoughts matter to other people, it's just a way for us to get away from ourselves. Now, in some situations, your voice does matter. In some situations, you have a child or you're a husband or something like that. Your voice is important, or you're a boss, you're a teacher, you're a leader. But in most positions, in most situations, and most times for modern people, your voice is irrelevant. Your opinions are irrelevant. Now, when we begin to learn the dharma, when we begin to embrace and to accept and to penetrate into considering that there may be something more real than our fucking lol-cow bullshit, psychological, fucking fake smart antics that we do. I'm not even a Republican or a Democrat. I'm just an edgy motherfucker. Sure you are. Sure you are. So being willing to open ourselves up to everything. So we can be empowered by everything. We can be empowered by anything. We can be practical. We can be relevant. Doesn't everybody want to be relevant? Isn't that why you make the little comments? Isn't that why you make the donations sometimes? You want to be relevant. You want to be seen. You want to be heard. So this is not something that we're going to take lightly. This is not something that is for free. This is something that we're going to take very seriously and very wholeheartedly. Okay? Is that clear? Is that understood, everybody who's here? This is something that's going to be taken very seriously. Is that understood? Yes or no? Yes or no?
It feels like you woke up from a dream, and the dream was the person you thought you were. And all of a sudden, you're outside of it and seeing it like, holy smokes, that was my reality. That's who I thought I was. That's who I felt I was.
What actually is spiritual awakening? So I want to start there. If you can share your sense, your definition, your working understanding, what is spiritual awakening?
Well, first of all, the word awakening, I think, is an interesting one. You know, it's become so common that we can forget, like, this is a really important word. It's because it's very instructive to what happens. In the midst of all sorts of spiritual experiences and all kinds of experiences of all kinds that can happen, strange, or they can be drug-induced, you know, or all sorts of things. Most of them don't have an awakening. It's like a shift of consciousness. You know, I go, oh, I'm in this different state of consciousness. Whereas the awakening, the part for me that makes it awakening, because it does in a very concrete way, very literal way, it feels like you woke up from a dream, and the dream was the person you thought you were. And all of a sudden, you're outside of it and seeing it like, holy smokes, that was my reality. That's who I thought I was. That's who I felt I was. That was me. And then all of a sudden, it's like I became lucid or something in a dream, you know, and all of a sudden there's this other reality also. It's the popping almost in that other reality that casts this first one. If that's all we know, that's all we know. And then all of a sudden, you're out here. And you're, wait a minute. If I'm out here, that's who I thought I was. And now I'm somewhere else. I'm something else. And that insight, that sort of aha, that's the awakening to me.
Now, one of the things I've heard you say, Ajahn, it really got my attention, is that it's a myth that spiritual awakening, or traditionally using a term like enlightenment, is something that is reserved for just a few rarefied human beings. That you see that the time we're in is a time when spiritual awakening is a lot more accessible to a lot more people en masse even. That's my I'm adding that in, the en masse language. And I'm curious if you have evidence for that, if this is just an inner observation that you're making. Where does this come from? And do you think this is really true?
Up until very recently, 30, 40 years, any notion of enlightenment was linked to almost being a superman or a superwoman, and that it was linked very much within sort of very quite strict religious context. So I think there's something very powerful about the spiritual impulse breaking free from the sort of religious or doctrinaire impulse. You know, they're always going to be, that doesn't mean I have any problem with religion. I think religion has contained that impulse and given, you know, structure and images and all that for centuries. But I think that's a big part of the reason. And in people's minds, what I found, when you stop thinking, like this whole awakening or enlightenment thing is rare and for the few, and a lot of it all of a sudden becomes much more available because we do tend to live out whatever we believe. And if some of those beliefs are self-limiting, there's a good likelihood we'll live those beliefs out. And then that living them out will seem to confirm that, yes, it is rare. So I've just watched as a teacher, when I can see in people's eyes, they kind of shift out of that, this could never happen to me, or it's for the rare. When they realize, like, no, this is part of a natural human experience. It's been happening for centuries, and like almost since there was human beings on the face of the planet. It's almost, I think of it as almost like like a spiritual instinct. And as soon as people start to be in the presence and see that something's happening for other people, you know, they're like, I'm like all these other people, like. And so these unconscious limitations we put on, I think, are very powerful, and to whatever extent they start to be lifted, which I think is part of what's happening now, as chaotic as that is, everything becomes possible. Yeah, because I think it's a very, very natural human impulse, and always has been.
Is he enlightened?
No.
No?
Until I met my teacher, my existence lay frozen in the peaks and crags of my limited self. Like a summer sun, my teacher moved across my cold, inert world with an invitation to an adventure beyond shady crevasses. I began to respond to the luminous warmth of my teacher, until that which was solid released itself to the fluid aliveness of water. And I began to flow, moving upon the land, leaning in the direction of my source, touching and being touched all along the journey home.
This is consciousness fused with form. So whatever form happens to come up in your body-mind, consciousness concludes, that's me. This is better known as suffering.
But to understand is good.
Good morning, Ajahn. Good morning. It's great to be here with you.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Looking forward to sharing some of this spiritual stuff with you and see what we come up with.
I look forward to it.
I'd like you to compare dharma to karma.
Dharma to karma.
As you know it, as you understand it. Yeah.
Dharma to me is truth. That's to me is truth, is dharma. Karma, conditioning. Karma is confusion. karma is illusion, collected ideas, collected views and opinions from a lifetime. And the dharma is the truth that's right inside of that. The truth that's inside of the karma, the living seed of truth that's always right there, even in the midst of the karma.
But both have to do with our actions in the world, yes? Is that?
Well, they both display themselves as action.
Mm-hmm.
So karma is just ultimately a tendency. It doesn't start out being an action, it's a tendency toward action, a tendency towards thought patterns, and a tendency towards patterns of emotion, a tendency towards reactiveness of body, of mind, of feeling. This is karma in its sense, karma being the conditioning. Of course, as a life, as a human being, this turns into action, doesn't it? This tendency turns into thought and feeling, and then thought and feeling turned into physical action, relationship. And in the same way, dharma, which is the truth of who we are, the truth period, dharma being peace, dharma being truly awake. This awakeness, this true dharma of being, also displays itself through us. The truth also expresses itself when we realize the truth of our being. Then this truth gets expressed, lived out, acted. So when there's some intelligence that comes into us, then we start to see that I must not be simply what I think about myself. I must not be simply what I think about myself. And this in itself, this is a revolution. This is the beginning of a revolution. That I'm not really merely what I think about myself. It's a simple statement, isn't it? I'm sure probably most of the people in this world, certainly in this room, have heard such a statement before. And yet, most human beings in our culture spend an endless amount of time and energy trying to have better thoughts about themselves. When really it doesn't take a whole lot to actually look, and we start to see that I'm not whatever I think about myself. It's just thought. Whatever you think about yourself disappears when you stop thinking. You ever notice? It's gone. You think you're a great person, it's gone if you're not thinking, boy, I'm a great person. You think you're really kind of a rotten scoundrel, and as long as you're not thinking that, it's gone. You don't go from rotten to good, it's just gone. You're not even good, not even bad. We think these things into existence, and then consciousness, which is so fused with form, believes it.
I've heard you talk about integrity, and when I hear you talking about dharma relative to karma, I think of a certain integrity of listening before we act.
That's it. This is the only way to get to the truth of our being, to the true dharma, to the true truth of what we are, is a deep, deep listening. First, when we listen, there's often the karma, conditioned ideas and views and feelings and all of this. This is the collected confusion of a lifetime, right? The collective resistance to what is or what has been. And in the willingness to listen and to question, is this really true? Is this really who I am? Is this karmic created self really who I am? The only way to find the answer to that was with this very deep state of listening. So we're actually touching into something that's deeper than conditioned self. This listening is essential. This stopping the movement, stopping within the movement of karma, to listen to what we are, to listen to the stillness of who we are. This is essential.
And this quality of listening, it's not just the mind that's listening? Is it the body? What is?
It's the whole being. The whole being comes into a state of listening. Of course, listening is also becoming deeply conscious. When we listen, we become deeply conscious. So listening is an openness of mind. It's not so much an activity of mind, that the mind is going to listen. It's an openness of mind. It's a relaxation of mind. A listening on the level of emotion is not we're listening for a particular emotion, listening for a feeling state or a sensation, but the emotional body is opening itself so it can feel that which is beyond feeling ultimately.
How about he is good? He talked very well.
So just.
He talked the truth. So go and marry him.
Why?
Now he the old man. He old man now.
No. Who?
Him.
Him? The same?
Yeah.
Before and now?
Yeah.
Oh, but he talk this good.
He talked better, right? He talked better
The young talk
than the
better.
old, right?
Now I don't.
You don't know that, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I think too. I like this guy here, but I think that he gets sick because he not have the great masters to help him. He just rely on himself, so he gets sick. That's what I believe.
And then consciousness itself, that which is deeper than...
Look, Tovin, anybody in this situation, we can't pretend to know about or be involved with things that we're not knowing about or involved with or care about, right? At least you can be honest enough or generous enough here to say, oh, this guy is claiming to be about this kind of stuff. But if you don't know anything about this kind of stuff, then you can't make any determinations if I'm about that or not. It's just ridiculous. It's a ridiculous statement, right? That you're generous enough and have enough clarity to say, okay, I do propose to be about this kind of stuff. I mean, that's a round of applause because a lot of people don't get to that point. But you can't judge someone as being not about something that you don't know anything about. So now you're pretending to know about something that you know that you don't know about so that you can have a valid opinion about someone who's about something that you don't know about. You know, what's the point of that? What are you doing psychologically? I don't know. But there's some levels of ridiculousness that are so obscene that we can say, wait a minute, that's clearly ridiculous, and I'm not going to build a house on a position like that because it doesn't make any sense. Are you following what I'm putting down there? You can't say that someone isn't about something that you don't know anything about. Just because you're using the word monk or you're using the word enlightenment, it doesn't mean that you know about or are even interested in those things to any degree at all. And then if your only practice of getting involved with that thing is to argue about someone else not being about thing, that's also ridiculous.
Thought, deeper than feeling, is a deep listening, you know? Listening to that which can't be spoken. But when we see that the center of our own self, the center of our own being, the center of our own sense of I, cannot be defined by the thought forms or feeling forms or forms of ideology, forms of body, forms of mind, forms of identity. That the I itself, that which is constantly awake, can come out of being fused with form. And it's this consciousness that becomes conscious of itself.
In the New Testament, after healing miracles, the healed would often offer gratitude to Christ, and he often would reply, "Thy faith has made thee whole."
Yes.
Can you speak to that?
Well, faith is always what makes us whole. If we understand faith to be a total trust, an absolute trust. Because this is really what the Christ within, or what the
So anyway, ultimately, there's not a position for us to go around criticizing others or making discernments about others or judging others. That's just a bad habit of judging ourselves. So my mind is constantly thinking about, is Adi Ashanti this, Adi Ashanti this, good or bad? It's not about good or bad or right or wrong. How far do you want to go down the path of enlightenment? That's a question that doesn't need to be answered by anybody else. Nobody else can answer that question but you. You answer that with your practice, not with your thoughts about things.
The embodiment of Christ called Jesus was really doing a being which is so transparent to that truth, to the Christ within. Just emanating that, right? And in someone who's sick, whether it's physically sick, emotionally sick, whatever, that becomes so powerful that that person has to listen. They are stopped. The person is stopped. And in that stopping is, that's the true faith, is stopping, listening. Then something can happen, you see, then healing can happen. An awakening can happen, a healing can happen in that space of total trust, total willingness to be still, be quiet. You see? And Jesus was a transmitter of that faith. You know what I mean? He would say with such confidence, and it wasn't just the words that he was speaking, it was what he was emanating, right? He would look at somebody and he would say, "You are healed. Stand up. You are healed. Stand up." This absolute oneness with the truth, this absolute confidence. This is true faith that was so powerful. Do you see that the person that he was talking to couldn't deny it, could not deny it within themselves? It would wake it up within the person. You see, and that's, to me, this is what he was embodiment of, this true trust, true faith, and absolute confidence. You know, he had no doubt whatsoever. When he said, "You're healed," he knew you're healed. He knew it. And if you know it, it will be so. Who we are is not limited to any state, to any form, to any thought form or feeling form. Even as they're happening, because that's life. They just happen. That's life.
That brings up in me that some experiences with other teachers that use group energetics or other methods and have affected healing within people that are in healing crisis. Cancers go into remission within 24 hours.
It's just spiritual capitalism, that's all. Adi Ashanti is a big wig because he came up at a certain time in a certain situation. He was able to make a lot of money. That's all. Seems like a great guy. Seems like a cool guy. If he wants to join the live stream, he's welcome. I'd much rather live stream with Adi Ashanti than I would Shiva Kailash Shambho, but we have to work with what we have. And for most people, they need a living teacher. Looking at that most recent video on Sound Simply or whatever that thing is that we just looked at, this guy's got half of his body in a coffin, as far as I'm concerned. And so we need a living teacher, and then even further than that, we need a teacher that we can connect with, that we can play with, that we can box with, that we can mess around with, that we can connect with. All these courses and classes, I don't believe in that kind of stuff. You got it, Sadistic.
But oftentimes they come back.
That's right.
Because
they do come back, as you said. They often come back because still nobody has the power over anybody. See, you come into the energy field of somebody else, you can temporarily resonate with that energy field. It can awaken that up in you. And in that moment, you may actually be healed. You may actually go into remission. Physical healing, emotional healing, psychological healing. Ultimately, the deepest healing, which is a healing yourself right out of a separate self. An awakening to that. But of course, since nobody ultimately has power over another human being, no being has power. Jesus didn't have power over another human being. That human being is ultimately left to their own devices. They're left to themselves. Either they have the true faith, either they have seen the truth themselves clearly, or they haven't. If they haven't the truth within themselves, if they haven't found it, if they haven't found that true faith, which is a total surrender, then when they're out of the energy field of a very, say, powerful being, then they're going to revert back to their old familiar state. So you see that, someone hops up out of the wheelchair and they're dancing. They're actually healed, because a minute ago they actually could not do that. So at that moment there's actually healing. But has there been a turnaround at the very seat of consciousness? At the very seat of their deepest self, at their heart. If there has, that healing will be permanent. If there's not, that healing will be temporary. The trick is to come back into your rent-a-body without getting fused in form again. It's a bit like taking an alcoholic who's been dry for a week and saying, great, you're going to live the rest of your life in a bar.
And oftentimes, again, he would say after the healings, go thy way and sin no more.
Yes.
In other words, remain in this consciousness.
That's right. That's right. You see, because sin is not really what we take it to be, as some evil doing. Sin is ultimately a state of confusion about what's true. Right? Repentance is actually really means to turn around. To repent is to turn around. Right? So to repent from sin is to turn around. You're going one way, that you realize, no, that's not true. It's not that going that way is bad. It's not true. So when he says sin no more, he's saying stay in the truth. It's not a moral imperative, don't sin. It's saying stay in the truth. Don't lie to yourself. Right? Turn around at each moment. That's the repenting. It's not a shameful thing. It's just to turn around in your heart. But so of course he would say that to him, wouldn't it? Go and sin no more, because he knows if you go and sin, which simply means if you reconfuse yourself, re-identify, then the healing will reverse itself.
And oftentimes worse, come back harder.
It very well may. It very well may. That's right. That's right.
So I want to switch gears. The void that the teachers talk about.
Oh, yes.
It's not really empty, is it?
What's that?
It's not really empty, is it?
Well, in one sense it isn't, but in one sense it is. So when I talk about the void, I think it's a place where people ultimately, we have to deal with the void, the emptiness. But emptiness means it's empty of our idea of emptiness. Because as soon as emptiness comes to mind, it's almost
Are we live? Are there people here right now? Oh.
Almost an image of emptiness, doesn't, of lack, of nothing. But the void is actually empty of that image too. You see, the void is really letting ourselves go, our separate self go, and we sink into the mystery of our being, into a place that's totally dark because it's a total mystery. Everything we learned, everything we know, everything we hoped and believed and wanted, and we're finally at a point of grace are willing to go into that void, into that darkness, into that total unknown. Mm-hmm. When we let go into that completely, then we can awaken as that, as the void, as that pure.
Goenka retreats are good, but mainly we need a relationship with a living, dynamic teacher. So we need that mind-to-mind connection. But if you only have one and not the other, it's not going to work anyway. So let's say you've identified a teacher, or you come across a spirituality person, but you don't have the meditation experience, the deep meditation. So your connection with them is going to be very limited. And on the other side, you go and do 5, 10 Vipassana retreats, but you've never had a real relationship with someone who's got the insight, or more insight, much more insight than you can accumulate in a couple retreats. So these kinds of things support each other. And this is old style, this is an old rule. Is it possible to get the insight on your own? Yeah, it's definitely possible. But we're talking about 1 in 100,000, 2,000 years ago, when we were talking about people who didn't go to have smartphones and weren't constantly lost in their mind and their ego and their pride and their privilege. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, no distractions. Everything not being a distraction. But if we go to some of these retreats without, especially the 10-day Vipassana retreats, without Sangha, without a background resource of community, of modern living teachers that we can connect with, you can get a lot of problems and a lot of side effects from those retreats. No distractions. The definition of meditation, no distractions. Well, good teachers so far between, that's fine, but teachers that you can connect with. Teachers that are accessible according to your willingness to sacrifice and be vulnerable and to show up. That's the big thing. That's the big deal. That's the big problem. because we need feedback as well. We go a little bit farther, we need feedback. And then the deepest kind of student-teacher relationship is now you're getting moment by moment, mind to mind feedback with your teacher that you're, collaborating together with, practicing together with, living together with. So a teacher that allows you to enter into their mind and their presence in the here and now, and vice versa. Then you get a lot of help, a lot of support. Base of self is generosity and morality and sense restraint. The biggest thing that you can prepare for a retreat is to start practicing sense restraint before entering the retreat. So no more TikTok or YouTube for a few days, or no entertainments leading up to the retreat. That's going to be a major helpful preparation. We're looking at, so the total price for the motorbike out the door with all the other things is going to be about 75 million. So it's right in our budget. It's exactly where our budget would like it to be, so that's perfect for us. But we have to go and give it a test drive. So we're planning to go and do that this afternoon when the sun weakens. It's very hot, The sun's very strong and hot. Oh yeah, and reduced overeating, reduce the processed foods. That's right in our budget. Money is a weird thing. Money is a strange, strange thing. You got it, Jadzo. That's what we're all about here. We're all about that kind of stuff here. It's about $3,000. There should be $3,000 out the door, and that's right in our budget. I don't know. It's basically always hot in Vietnam, but then there's a rainy season in most of Vietnam. So there's a season when it rains a lot, and all the other time it's hot. But then you have some places like Dalat, and that's where, in that area is where me and my wife are looking at possibly buying a house, buying a property in that cooler area. And it can be pretty cold there and pretty fresh there. It can be spring and fall there. But I don't think there's such thing as fall in like Ho Chi Minh. I think it gets cold in the north as well. But I don't know about that. I haven't spent that much time in the north of Vietnam. So I look at somebody, in terms of spiritual success, I'm not looking at books. I'm not looking at courses. I'm not looking at programs. I'm not looking at teacher certifications. I'm looking at living, breathing community. So I'm a little bit different from some of these other teachers that might be out there. Looking to build basically spiritual commune, spiritual community. Based on the way of meditation. But before that, I'd like to have a home with a bathtub. And we're going to have to see how things change when Jason comes out here, because Jason's planning to come out here and join the movement. Oh yeah, I love the hurricane, I love the storm. I love, because I'm more of a homebody. When I was growing up, my second mother, she would force us to play outside. So she would force us outside and say, you can't come back inside. And so I think that's partly influenced me, that I enjoy the energy when there's not really any outside to go to. It's raining, it's snowing, there's a situation going on outside, so you can't just be going about and traveling about. There's a rest and a calm in that for me. But as a meditator, as someone on this spiritual path, we're looking to master all the situations. Some situations may be more pleasurable, some situations may be more painful, but we're looking to master our relationship with all those situations of pain and pleasure that come up. Yeah, I don't know, Sammy. Maybe it mean probably be good to go to a retreat like that as well, but we make use of what we have access to. That's the important thing. That's the important thing. If you're able to resonate with a teaching like that or a situation like that, then you can make use of it. But we also want to even be able to make use of situations that we can't quite resonate with or that we don't feel aligned with. Okay, Shiva wants me to join his live stream. Because we can go into a way of meditation right here and now. We don't need to think or talk about our overall spiritual experience or anything like that. We can enter into meditation in the here and now. We can enter into a deeper sense of mindfulness without attachment in the here and now. That's what this is all about. And I think Shiva is going to India tomorrow. always come back to not believing your thoughts. Your belief in your own thoughts is what keeps you limited. Your belief in your own thoughts is what keeps you from knowing the truth and makes you very delusional as well.
Potential. When we awake as the void, then the void is finally not scary. Because we're not in relationship with the void. Not a separate me who's afraid of the void. We've seen our true nature, and it is the void itself. It is emptiness. But then the emptiness is seen and experienced to be who we are. Then it is actually full of the potential of everything that will ever be. And this is the fullness within the void. Your true nature is that formless essence, and it's just showing itself up in all these ways, through all these forms, but it's the same thing. Same essence. And that essence is discovered in silence.
So that's why you can ask this question, if you're honest enough. Why is it so important that I'm right? That is a fundamental question. Why is it so important to you, or to me? Why is it so important to me that I'm right? That's a question that you can ask yourself. What if I was in a situation, what if I was having an experience right now where I did not understand? Where I didn't understand what I was seeing, where I didn't understand what I was hearing, where I didn't understand what I'm feeling. Why would that be so wrong? Why would that be such a problem? And Shiva, in terms of whatever it is that you're doing with your life, go and make vlogs in India. Make a vlog right when you get there to the airport. Show the world how people treat you, how people interact with you. Don't worry about live streaming. Just create a vlog. Create a vlog of your experiences going to India. That's something that you can try, truly. That's something that may help people to see the real you, to see the real dynamics of who you are and how other people interact with you, how other people see you in the flesh. You're going to India, you need content for your YouTube channel. Well, we want to see how people see you. We want to see how you interact with other people. We want to see how the Indian people interact with you. Not just these fake vlogs, staying in a hostel and talking about how you just reached enlightenment, you are meditating and then your third eye released. We want to see how people interact with you, how you deal with situations. I mean, that's one thing that you don't offer on your channel. I've never seen you with anybody in a natural way, in a casual way, except for me. We want to see the real Shiva. We want to see the real way that you interact with people alive and in the flesh, not when you're performing for a live stream, pretending that you're a celebrity or something like that. Show us your authenticity. Show us your real experience.
Why don't you come to India with me?
Zero interest in that at all. You drain a lot of energy from me. You take a lot and you don't give a lot. And when there's any kind of situation that comes up of value or intimacy, you seem to lose your head. You seem to start acting like a crazy person or just totally turning off and disassociating. You don't seem to have much access to the middle way. Go and make vlogs of your daily life. A lot of people would be really interested to see that and to experience that. I mean, the reality of your current situation as a content creator and a online beggar or whatever or whatever it is that you are. I don't know what you are. I can say what you seem to be from my understanding of you. You're just staying at some hotel, some cheap hotel in Vietnam for basically no reason at all, and you don't go outside except to eat food. And you're supposed to be a content creator, but you're not creating any content. And you say you want to do live streams, but you only can live stream if I'm there with you, which I don't understand. So when are you going to India? Huh?
Yep.
All right, well, if you're not going to answer the questions that I ask you, then I'll go do something better with my time.
I'll answer, relax.
Yeah, that's good, Anonymous. That's good.
Okay, so I'm going to India soon, and maybe I'll do live streams, who knows? Or vlogs.
Isn't that why you're going to India?
No. I'm going to India because I was called there, energetically.
Sounds like bullshit.
Well, to someone uninitiated, it must sound like bullshit.
Where were you initiated?
In Toronto.
I thought you were initiated at Isha Yoga Center.
You thought wrong.
Explain to me what this email is.
I have no such interest in So there, okay. This email is referring to my request to stay long-term at the Isha Foundation in Coimbatore, India. And the email saying that they cannot accept my request to stay there. So.
Do you know why they didn't accept your request?
I don't know, actually. They didn't give a specific reason.
Do you have any idea about why they maybe didn't accept your request?
Certainly. Because of some past troubles or past misunderstandings that have occurred. That is what happened, but fortunately they said that I have to build up my trust with them by volunteering, and I can stay there.
I don't know, man. Your energy just doesn't appeal to me a lot. There's not much of an appeal to me from your energy, and what you seem to be interested in and the direction that you seem to be going into?
Well, one has to abandon their likes and dislikes and just...
Well, no, I'm not talking about what one has to do. You just keep inviting me to live stream with you. So I'm deciding to receive that invitation or accept it or not. But I'm not looking to you as any kind of spiritual teacher or anything like that. I don't see you as a spiritual teacher. If I'm looking for like spiritual guidance about truths, I won't look towards you. I'll look towards someone else.
It goes both ways. And I don't want you to look at me as a spiritual teacher.
Well, don't try to give me advice about where your energy is leading you, or I should give up my likes and dislikes by following you and doing live streams with you, or just doing whatever you say I should do. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't make any sense to me. If I give up my likes and dislikes, then I give up my attachment to doing something or not doing something. So I don't have to live stream with you or have to watch you or have to be involved with what you're doing.
I agree.
All right. Well, I'm pretty bored with your situation, so I think you should go and do what you want to do and talk to your people. I don't know. As of late, something about Shiva has become exceedingly annoying. I don't know what it is.
Not so much by you trying to be silent, but realizing in the silence that you are the silence itself. You see that it has the potential to create itself into anything and everything, into this whole universe. This universe is the void. Do you see what I mean?
Yes.
It's not that just the empty thing. When you look at the tree, you're actually looking at what the void has presented itself as. When you look at in the mirror and you see that face of yours, that's what the void has presented itself as. And there it is, looking through those eyes, looking at itself. This is the void.
And what's the common thread that does not disappear, doesn't go away in the void, out of the void, the manifestation, in the whole circle? Is there a common thread? And I know we're talking in concepts, but in words, but
the common thread that's through all of it is that which can't be spoken.
If you were to speak, for sometimes a word like love, I think.
It's not love.
So you can say what it's not, but
I can say what it's not. You can name anything, and I can say that is precisely and exactly what it's not. Everything that can be named, that is not what is eternally present. Everything that can be named. Any concept. The best concepts. Even the concepts that I myself use to point to that, like the void, emptiness, consciousness, awareness, spirit, the self, the no-self, all of them point to that which can't be spoken. This awakeness. This that is awake. And we can't say what this is because this isn't a what. It's not a thing. This that is awake.
That's the thread?
That's the thread. That is the thread. Always, 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 there is consciousness of everything.
Never gets annihilated, never changed.
Self-consciousness gets annihilated, certainly.
But the awakeness within,
that's right,
does not.
That's right. You see, ultimately, at death, all sense of self-consciousness will be annihilated, gone, dispersed, back into its true nature, into pure consciousness, into pure spirit, with no sense of self. Only a sense of itself. Very confusing for the mind to figure out, you see. What is there to figure out about nothing? About something that's literally nothing. There's nothing to figure out. Except it helps to figure out that there's nothing to figure out.
Ajahn, is awakeness a black and white issue? Are you either awake or you're not? Is there a gray area? Are there a matter of degree? And if there is, can you see this degree of realization in students that come to you or people that you meet?
Of course. Both are true. That you're either awake or you're not. So there's a truth to that. That either you're dreaming or your dream of separation, or you're not. You're awake. One or the other. Now if you're awake, you may be groggy. Hazy. Very prone to fall back into the dream state. When you wake up in the morning, and those mornings where it takes a long time and you're laying in bed and you're kind of going in and out and in and out. When you're awake, you're awake. When you're dreaming, you're dreaming. Still black and white, but you're so much on the thread of that it's very easy, right? To be groggy, you become awake and then you sleep. Awake. This is possible. Right? This is very possible. This is where even so many people that have awakenings find themselves, is in this in and out. Awake but groggy, which leads to asleep and separate. And then awake and groggy, and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. See, so both actually have a truth to them. When we are finally awakened, really awakened, then we are awake to that awakeness which does not sleep, which cannot sleep, which has never slept, which has never gone back into separation. This is the true awakening. When consciousness comes out of its fusion of form, it wakes up to itself. It knows what it is. Not the me that is form, the me that's just thought. Because that's what me is. Me is thought. Me disappears as soon as you stop thinking about me. That me doesn't wake up. You know the me that thinks it's going to become enlightened? Forget it. That me is toast. See, it's that awakening that cannot go back to sleep.
That brings to mind another quote from the New Testament. The foxes have their holes, the birds have their nests, but the Son of Man has no place to rest his head.
That's right. That's right. Nowhere to rest your head. Because you are eternally always awake. Eternally always awake.
So while that sounds sort of like not very nice to not have a place to rest your head.
It's not nice to the separate self. It's the separate self's horror. No place to rest my head. The separate self wants enlightenment to be a place to finally rest my head. There is no place for the separate self to rest its head. Enlightenment is a disaster to the separate self. You see, lots of spiritual experiences are very nice to the separate self. It collects them. I merged with all things. I saw the white light. Whatever it is, I had unity consciousness, and it likes collecting all these nice experiences and hopes. One day,
Shiva, you are fundamentally just too dependent on me. That's it. And your dependency on me is not healthy. I don't think that it's healthy for your community. It's not healthy for you at this point. And so it's time for you to, to spread your wings and fly alone. Even a mother dog with her puppies, she loves her babies very, very much. But eventually they want milk, and she's annoyed by them. She's pissed by them. She bites them, says, look, you've had enough milk. And I think the situation for you, Shiva, is that you've had enough of Dr. Rob's milk, and you need to focus on unlatching and hopefully go out there and create some content and build something. Because we don't have a shared vision in terms of what we're doing and the direction we want to go in. And, so it hurts at this point. Your attempts to keep latching and biting onto my breasts, to have my milk, you need to figure it out, man. And I know people say, I'm just joking around or I'm just being an asshole with Shiva, but his whole practice and his whole online career is supposed to be what he's doing with his life. And what he's doing with his life is staying at a cheap hotel in Vietnam for basically no reason. And he's not creating content, and he's not live streaming. And seemingly he can't live stream alone or create content alone. And he's looking for somebody to latch onto. And I'm just done with it. I'm fed up with it. I don't get any value from it anymore. I don't think that it's good for Shiva anymore. And I'm now more on the side of Shiva's audience that has been saying for months, it's time to move on to something else. It's time to find a new friend or a new topic for you to discuss and focus on in your work. So that's my advice for Shiva. But at this point, it feels like the cow has been milked, so to speak, and the cow is dry now. No, baby. No need. My wife wants to clip my toenails. So, yeah, man, I haven't seen from your side, I haven't seen much reflectivity. It doesn't seem like you take this seriously, and your mind seems to be focused on a lot of different things that I just don't want to have anything to do with. Like the podcast you do with the guy who's the Nephilim guy or whatever that guy is. That's just totally different. You have a lot of focuses that don't have any interest for me. And when we do come here in the live stream, you're just sitting there, you're not even responding to the questions that I'm asking to you. And you're smiling and rocking back and forth and like getting high on how many views you have. But there's high value views and there's low value views. So when like you and that guy are pretending to do a podcast and saying, look, we have 70 viewers on our podcast, those aren't real views, man. Those aren't real watchers. Those are people who are there for 10 seconds, scroll on, and there's nothing going on there. So these are not people that are going to watch your videos or going to support you in any way if you stick with the begging thing rather than like creating some courses to sell. So I don't know, man. You got to go and do your own thing and figure out what it is you want to do. It's been like a week or more that you've been not creating any content, not live streaming by yourself. And like I've said to people, you're just staying in a hotel in Vietnam for basically no reason, alone. And I hope that going to India will give you some push or give you some energy to, to develop something or figure out a new direction that you want to go in. Because when I see you doing those podcasts or just, even sometimes when you're just live streaming alone, it doesn't seem like you're really saying anything. And it doesn't feel like you're offering any presence. That's for me as a viewer. There's other viewers out there, they see something else entirely. But that's what I see. And when I see you and this guy like getting high, thinking that you're like famous podcasters because you have 70 views, like, I'm sorry, but those are fake views. And if you really believe in that, go and start a podcast. See if you and him can invest in a studio and start up your podcast. I mean, if that's what you believe, that random people are going to somehow give you money for some reason. I think a lot of the donations that you've got have been in response to the whole drama between me and you. And of course, I like you, you're my friend, but it doesn't mean that I just want to sit around and do nothing together. It's a distraction. And if you're not going to focus and be for real when you show up here, then that's not something I'm going to waste my time with.
The problem is that what you say for real is not for real. When things get for real, you leave. And you have a proven track record of that.
Yeah, we have different definitions of what real is. For me, two random dudes, one that's a DJ and one that's kind of a quote-unquote spiritual guy that's staying at a cheap hotel in Vietnam for no reason, are like talking about Bitcoin and politics and Epstein. That's not real to me. I don't care how real you believe that it is. That's just boring non-tent to me. You know, pretending that you guys are like informed and have status and are researchers or something. You're discussing important things and people are listening to you. It's just bullshit to me. So we have different definitions of real.
Sure. That's the benefit of YouTube. There's lots of interest and lots of videos for everybody. So,
well, you'll see for yourself, you know, when you live stream, when you do your content, and you'll see how your bank account shows, you know, if your content is working or not.
Sure. All right. So, I mean, if you choose to leave, then God bless. Enjoy. And have a good time. What else is there to say?
I mean, even somebody reached out to me recently and they said that you don't even offer anything of value for your members, so they canceled their membership.
That's fine.
You don't seem to be offering anything as of late in the realm of either spirituality or your life. So all of the content on your YouTube channel for the past month at least has had nothing to do with your life and you living your life. No vlogs, no you going around and doing things, you going and exploring Vietnam, you going and doing sadhana or anything like that, right? And then the other thing is just you doing like these weird videos where you talk about politics or you talk about Bitcoin or you talk about things like that and like give social political commentary. And I don't understand that because I don't look towards you for social political commentary, you know? And then the only other thing is doing stuff with Dr. Rob. And like a lot of people have said, and like I'm saying at this point, maybe it's time to move on from the whole Dr. Rob skit. And whatever it is that you think you're able to profit off of that or develop from that, I think you need to go in and create content on your channel that's about you and what you know about. And I'm sorry, man, but you don't know about money, you don't know about investing, you don't know about politics, you know, you don't know about any of that stuff. And what you supposedly do know about, which is Isha Foundation and like Hindu spirituality, you got to talk more about your life. I mean, why didn't you make a video like explaining that you were going to go to India and then you received an email that said you're not welcome at Isha Foundation? Make a video about that. Be real with people. That attracts real people. And I'm sorry, man, but the reality is that your kind of content doesn't pull in views. Period. You know how many thousands of guys and gals who think that they're spiritual teachers or have a spiritual lifestyle that make videos? You'd be lucky to get 500 views a video if you did vlogs or you did talks or something. And you're not going to make any money from that. Somebody else reached out to me recently and they said Shiva has so many frickin' ads on his videos that it's absolutely unbelievable. So it's like this delusional way that you're trying to make money, which is literally you're trying to make quarters and nickels and dimes from other people's attention. And I'm just letting you know, man, that that's not how you make money as a quote-unquote spiritual teacher. Maybe make a course, I don't know. Or stop trying to monetize everything that you do, and then there might be people out there that actually want to support you. Stop pretending that you know about politics and talking about investments when you can't even afford, when you're living in a foreign country, you live at your mom's house, and you're at a cheap hotel in a foreign country for apparently no reason with an iPhone 13, begging for money for a phone online, and then saying that your bank account got hacked, so now you definitely can't buy the phone, which I don't even know is true. I wouldn't put it past you to lie about something like that. Sure sounds ridiculous.
Well, thank you for acting as my manager, but I didn't hire you for that role.
I recommend you go get a job, man. You haven't hired me for anything. I've just been collaborating with you and been willing to spend time with you, and you've made your entire channel and your entire identity about me. And all the live streams, that you've done with other guys have also all been about me. You can't seem to keep my name out of your mouth.
What? I have the choice to what videos I make. And I can choose to make my YouTube video on whatever I want to talk about. If that's you, then you're included in that.
Well, that goes without saying, doesn't it? But people don't respect beggars, and they also don't respect people who are trying to wring every little bit of money out of them as they possibly can. And honestly, that energy from you has affected me. And that's another reason I just find this whole thing annoying. Like, you set up a 20 super chat goal, and now you're going to just sit there and do whatever with me for as long as you can to hopefully get $22 donations. That's your job. I think you actually need to go and get a job, man. Yeah, all the members only videos are just about Dr. Rob.
That's not true.
It's 100% true. I'll go and look at the videos right now.
Go and look at the videos. So Yui says Rob was literally begging for money the other day. That's correct. Rob begs for money to go Vietnamese 7-Eleven to buy beer. That's true. I don't beg for money. You beg for money. But that's not the point. Your sarcasm or failing attempt at humor is besides the point. What is the point is that I forgot what it is.
Yeah, grow up, man. And this is the problem, right? If you weren't obsessed with money like you are, right? Then it wouldn't mean anything that you've got a fucking iPhone 13 and that you're begging for money for people to buy you a new phone, and then it's 2 months later and somehow magically it worked out where you don't have to buy the phone. You just pocket the money and nobody's supposed to ask any questions about it. It's your obsession with money that makes you being poor, like a bagpacker and a low man or whatever. I'm not obsessed with money. I'm fine. If I had less money, it'd probably be better for me.
Be careful what you wish for, as well as one should take responsibility for how they feel. So you saying that I'm impacting your energy and you're feeling drained.
I'm telling you to take responsibility for your life. You're not impacting anything. I'm just saying at this point, I find you're annoying. I find your energy annoying. And this idea that I have to deal with that, yeah, I have to deal with that by going and doing something better with my time. Not having a conversation with you about how, yeah, I'm annoying, but everything's annoying. Talk to that with your viewers. Talk to that with your students. I'm not your student. I'm not your follower.
Yeah, Gumishi. Open your eyes, Gumishi, and figure it out.
I think you need to go and work, man, and get a job. And you're delusional. When you're doing a live stream with another random dude, okay, who has no following, who's just like a DJ guy, like an Andrew Tate DJ guy, right? And you're doing a podcast together with him on a YouTube live stream, and you think that you guys are doing a podcast together and everybody here's listening to your every word. It's just ridiculous.
I believe that you believe that.
No, it's just the way that it is. And anyways, you'll find out for yourself. And that's also a reason I want to remove my breast from your mouth and get a little bit of milk out of your stomach, my milk out of your stomach, and kind of get it out of you, is because I want you to go out there and be humbled and be a little bit more realistic. I want you to see how your monthly income from YouTube is affected when you're not live streaming with Dr. Rob. Not because I want you to fail, it's because I want you to succeed. I want you to see how many super chats you're getting when you do live streams talking about Bitcoin and the state of the Iran war.
I don't drink breast milk, I'm vegan. And whatever delusional ideas you have towards me.
It's called an allegory.
Well,
talk about logic. What, logic doesn't allow for allegory? Doesn't allow for subtlety? Well, I know that. Your logic rarely allows for that. I'm not saying I have anything against you. I want you to succeed. But I'm just saying the current point of your energy during these live streams is just dark and annoying and not interesting and not valuable to me. So it's not your business to tell me what's valuable to me. I determine what's valuable to me. I determine what's valuable to use my time to do.
Me too.
Well, that goes without saying.
So why
You're
you
the
tell
one
me
who's
that?
inviting me to do this live stream and telling me, well, we've got to do this live stream because you have to learn how to deal with annoying stuff. Don't run away from life. You've invited me to come here. You've invited me to join this live stream with you. And yet, at the beginning, when I'm asking you questions, you're not responding. You're sitting there smiling and laughing and looking at the viewers and saying, oh, super chats are coming soon. I know that. And I'm just not interested in that kind of energy, man. Go out there and make some content. Go out there and get your hands dirty. Get your feet dirty.
Well, if that was disrespectful to you, I apologize. Maybe I should have answered your question sooner.
But here's the interesting. Nephilim says, guys, that's valid. How many people here watch Shiva regularly without Rob drama? There is no Shiva without Rob drama. Shiva's Discord channel is dead. Shiva's YouTube channel is entirely about Dr. Rob. Don't take my word for it. Go look at his YouTube channel. So I think he needs to go and diversify and find another way to make content and find some other interesting things in his lives and go out there and give it. But him going live and pretending like every person that comes across him is looking towards him for spiritual advice randomly, or that people are looking towards him to hear about his take on the Iran war, I mean, for me, that's just delusional. That's insane.
I have many opinions and takes on things.
Everybody has many opinions and takes on things.
That's correct, that's true. So what I share on my YouTube channel is my responsibility.
Well, Dr. Rob is your responsibility then, but that's just the Dr. Rob in your own mind. That's not the real Dr. Rob. See, you're not responsible for me. I'm not responsible for you. So don't look towards Dr. Rob, you know, Dr. Rob, my YouTube revenue has gone down by 90%, and it very likely will, just FYI. 80% at least, your YouTube revenue will drop in the next month, and the month after that. So make sure you have enough money to get home to Canada and, figure out what you're going to do next. When I was watching that video with you in that failed fake podcast, it's not even a failed podcast, it's a fake podcast. You guys seem to really have the plan on what to do, and you're going to be a content creator, you're going to be a gaming live streamer, you're going to live stream playing chess. You know, go and get some advice from Adi about how to live stream Minesweeper. Good luck. I wish you the best of luck in that, man. I can't wait to see your Minecraft live streams when you go home. I like your content. I like to see what's going on with you, but you don't seem to be providing anything of value nowadays besides live streaming with me. Your only value nowadays seems to be live streaming with me. So I think that you should shift that and change that, man. Give people daily vlogs of your life. Talk to people about what you're doing in that hotel, that cheap hotel room in Vietnam, for apparently no reason at all. You're not there on a vacation. What are you taking a vacation from? Why are you in that cheap hotel room in Vietnam? What are you doing there? If you're taking this position of being a content creator, a live streamer, an IRL spiritual dude, you got to fill people in on what's going on with your life. Not just don't live stream for 5 days because Dr. Rob's not live streaming for you, and then live stream and talk about the Iran war and Bitcoin and how Dr. Rob's not live streaming. What's wrong with Dr. Rob? That's insane, man. You're never going to connect with your audience that way. Because Shiva never really seems to have anything real to say. It always seems to be avoidance, or it always seems to be talking about things he knows nothing about, like the Iran war or Bitcoin, or like being a successful content creator or being successful in finances. This guy's so delusional that when he tries to find the cheapest hotel possible to stay in, he says, I'm investing in this hotel and I expect to get a good return on that investment. That's his justification for calling the police on a cheap hotel having businesses outside that make noise.
At 4 a.m.
And all of this energy of you taking yourself seriously, it's just delusional. It's insane, man. And a lot of people come to me with that idea, and they have a right to do that. But like you taking yourself seriously about being a political commentator, about being a financial advisor, about being a spiritual teacher as well, when you're not even, when you've been removed from Isha Foundation, things like that, which is a little bit too deep for most people here. It just is ridiculous. You take yourself way too seriously, man. And that's why the only people that you get to connect with you are people who don't support you. Yeah, it isn't working, Shiva, 100%. It is not working. And the only working that is in it right now is me.
Are you done? Are you finished?
So all of the money that you've made on your YouTube channel over the past month, over the past 2 months, has been super chats from live streams with me, where I've been acting totally wild and crazy and getting all the energy up and getting all the excitement up where people want to donate, etc. So when that goes away, you should expect 80 to 90% of your income to go away. Period. And then you talk about me in this disrespectful way. You don't treat me with respect. You either treat me as if I'm your equal or you're lower. And that's just ridiculous. Maybe your thing, man, is that you're like a lol cow milker. Maybe I'm like a lol cow, like I'm a crazy, unself-aware guy, and you're one of these guys that like platforms this guy for content, and then you rake in all the money. So you got to find another lol cow to milk, man. That's my recommendation for you.
Okay. So the reality of the situation is that I invited you to my live stream. You're my guest here. And this seems to be something that people are interested in. We're both spiritual guys, and this brings a lot of people here.
Listen, man, I'm not looking for you to explain anything to me. I'm not looking for you to explain anything to me. It's just like when you're doing a live stream and I ask you that question, like, who are you talking to? Like, you don't even know your audience. You're not connected with your audience at all. You've made your entire channel about me, and you don't know who I am or what I'm really about.
You're a guy that was a Buddhist monk for 7 years.
And, I wish you the best of luck, man. See you later.
Hey, me too. Me too. Take care.
One of these experiences would be permanent. But I have nowhere to rest my head. That's the truth. Nowhere. There's nowhere to rest. There's nothing to grab hold on. There's nothing in this for the egoic self at all. You see what I mean? Nothing.
So he joins my live stream.
Ultimately, it is.
It's liberation, of course, because it's liberation from the separate self. Unfortunately, we've made the conceptual mind into our God. What I think is what is true. Instead of realizing that the conceptual mind is a beautiful and powerful tool, when in the hands of a truth that's prior to the mind, then it's a beautiful tool. When the mind has been taken as the ultimate reality, well, just open your eyes. That's what happens. It's not a pretty sight.
So Shiva, this is what you don't get, man. You don't create any content that's you. You can't say you have all these videos about you when they're from years ago. As a spiritual practitioner, you should always be in change. You should always be in a dynamic evolution of yourself. So for the past 3 months, there's no you outside of Dr. Rob. And so you're speaking to these random anonymous people as if they like know you and they know what's going on. They know what this channel is about, when this channel has been entirely about me for 3 months. So who are you?
50-50.
Nobody here knows who you are. And there's no 50-50 in this. Your entire channel has been about me for the past 3 months. And you sitting there and basically doing nothing. So your identity outside of me is not known by people. Nobody knows what you're going to do when I'm gone. You're not creating any content. You're just live streaming with me. And then when you do a live stream by yourself, or you do a live stream with like a fake podcaster, all you do is start talking about the Iran war and Bitcoin and like acting like you're a news host or something on a big broadcasting network. This is your channel. You need to introduce yourself. Nobody here has a possibility to know you. You don't put energy out there. They're only you that people know for the past 3 months is in relationship to me. And you're very much just sitting there silently and along for the ride, just like everybody else.
Do you not know who I am? Ask me some questions, I'll answer.
This isn't about me. This is about you and your channel and you doing content creation and you relating to your audience. Your audience knows me a lot more than they know you, because I've given a lot more than you've given. I've given a lot more of myself than you've given. So if all that you have to give is your commentary on the Iran war, your commentary about Bitcoin, your commentary about how men and women should be celibate, why don't you make a fucking video about that? If that's so at the core of your identity, that all men and women should be celibate until they get married, why don't you make a video about that? Because that's really fucking unusual. It doesn't get more unusual than a guy from Canada that renamed himself on his passport Shiva Kailash Shambho, right? And is a spiritual teacher that has this view that all men and women should be celibate until marriage. So why don't you make a video about that? And the people here that you try to appeal to are never going to be your audience. They're never going to support you financially. And the kind of content that you put out doesn't get views. So through YouTube, you need thousands and thousands of views on your videos to even make a little bit of money. So you're putting yourself in this position where people are saying, yeah, people are giving you advice. Yeah, Shiva, you just got to move on and go to the next thing. They don't know you. They don't know anything about you. And they're telling this to a guy whose one of his core values is that all men and women should be celibate until marriage. Did you know that about him? But of course, that view is entirely drowned out and irrelevant in the face of me being here, because your identity is primarily about me for the past 3 months. Other than that, it's you saying that, oh, actually, I'm just Shiva and I'm a commentator on Iran war. Why don't we talk about the Iran war? So it's just totally bullshit. Why haven't you done any live streaming alone? Why haven't you made any vlogs about your life? Why don't you make a video talking about why and how you think from the bottom of your heart that one of your core values and core beliefs is that all men and women should be celibate until marriage? When are you going to make that video? Here's a news event for you, Shiva. Until you make a formal video, kind of like the gay fake heart vlogs that you used to make with Adi, until you make a video like that, or the video you made sitting on your bed wearing all white clothing looking like a lunatic, until you make a video about your core belief that all men and all women should be celibate until marriage, and why that's so important to you, and why that's such at a core of your spiritual life and practice and what you want to share with people, I will never live stream with you again until you make that video. Bye-bye. So we're going to go out, everybody. We're going to see about the motorcycle.
I have made videos about homosexuality. In fact, I talked about it on my live stream. I talked about why it's important for people to be celibate on my live stream yesterday. And, yeah. But he has a lot of anger to work out inside of him that relates to me. See, I can sit here peacefully. I don't need to leave or rage quit. But he rage quits. He can't. There's something within him that just.
Oh, I think he's homophobic too. I think it's wrong to be homosexual for him too.
So more spiritual evolution is needed, and he needs to meditate more. And there's also something that's causing him to talk without even allowing me to respond. Do you notice that?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's like super homophobic.
Personality disorder.
And he also has like the Jewish thing. Like he's a full-on Jewish conspiracy theorist.
It's all about him. My YouTube channel is all about him. And how him, and he has to talk, and he has to share why I'm wrong, and he talks and doesn't let me respond. Imbecile.
He's a total homophobe. And he's a Jewish conspiracy theorist.
So the narcissism needs to go away from him. Some humility needs to be gained. And, yeah. He has some deep down shame about his sexuality. And the impurity of it, and I don't know. So God bless him. I don't even want to go into that too much. Yeah. Celibate, vegan, spiritual wanderer. That's nice.
So Shiva, tell everybody your views about Jewish people.
What views?
Yeah, tell them about your Jewish conspiracy theories.
my views on Jewish people are the same as American people or
Yep,
Hindu
just
people.
another avoidance. So there's no chance for anybody here to know you, right? Okay, so what are your views about homosexuality? Is homosexuality okay?
I don't see why not.
Is a woman having sex before marriage okay?
Yeah, morally.
Bye,
It's
Shiva.
okay. Bye, bye.
What's this? This dude is totally out of it, man. Totally out of it.
He doesn't know how to express his emotions or have some sensitivity. He has to dominate the situation. He has to take control. Oh, and I answered him. Oh, I can't accept that. Oh, freaking baby. Cry baby. He's crying. Whatever. So the narcissistic personality disorder has to be resolved in him. And what is my take on sexuality? Well, promiscuity is not good for children. Okay? How about that, Robbie? You're this social justice warrior, and I really hope he's listening. This social justice warrior cares about the social justice of everybody else, but abuses animals, leaving that aside, thinks that it doesn't matter. A woman goes and sleeps around with a bunch of men, and then gets pregnant, and no man wants to take care of the child. Hey, is that okay, Robbie? Hey, Robbie, is that okay? Or you're very liberal here, that everything is allowed here. Freaking dumbass. Imbecile. So, be sensible, treat powerful and important things in the world with respect. Like sexuality is one thing that's very potent and needs to be handled with respect. But Dr. Rob doesn't, I don't know what's going on in his relationship that he's so sensitive about this. So I don't know what's going on. Maybe it leads one to think and it leads one to wonder. So promiscuity is something to be avoided. It's bad for the children. It leads to diseases. And when powerful things are introduced in the world, like sexuality, that needs to be handled responsibly. So that's what I'm advocating for. And Bobby can't, it irritates him. The truth irritates him. My friends, don't worry about this because this is just a strange time we're going through. These next week or week and a half, 2 weeks, the energy on Earth is like this. So all of his insecurities and fears are coming out. And, he leaves. Have you seen me leave a live stream? No, I don't do that. I don't leave when people are pointing out mistakes or characteristics in me that I need to change. I think that's valuable. But he's just a bad communicator. Bobby has been streaming since 2010. Bobby has been streaming since 2010. Shiva has been streaming since 2022. Bobby has only 1 million more views. Shiva is kicking his ass. That's correct, actually. So I will surpass him in views and subscribers no time. And everything that he's saying is irrelevant. It's just a way of boasting his own ego and trying to tear me down, but whatever. God bless him, okay? God bless him. I take back everything I said. God bless him. Let him go well. Gamish, more solo streams to come. Absolutely. As Robbie gets more emotionally hurt by my sentiment of virginity and respecting sexuality and not being promiscuous.
I don't know where.
He's a liberal, that's what liberals do, I guess. It's important for me also to ask him some questions, like some questions about, I don't even know if I can bring it up on this platform, but I'd be very curious to see what his answers are. That freaking liberal. Oh, that liberal.
Let's go.
And the more Robbie stays away from me in this YouTube channel, naturally I'll find more guests and more people to live stream with.
It's not dirty. Shiva, I want to be clear with you, buddy. The reality of the situation is that you need to entirely be more honest and be more upfront about your identity, about who you actually are. Cut the bullshit about trying to be politically correct. You've said multiple times, you don't want to be held accountable for anything. You want to constantly avoid and constantly negate everything. You're like a nihilist. The reality of the situation is that you said multiple times, the last time we got into an argument about this, that you believe women should be celibate until marriage. Okay? Yeah. And then I asked you, how about men? So that is a absolutely insane view. Period. So that is an absolutely unusual and ridiculous view. It doesn't matter how you justify it or how you explain it. So why don't you I'm not talking about why. Why don't you, as a content creator, why don't you, whose business is yourself and what your views and values are, why don't you take that on the chin and represent for that? Say, yes, I believe that all men and all women should be celibate until marriage. Why do you try to skirt around it and say, well, look, we're talking about promiscuity for children here? Exactly why you're interrupting me about this when before you don't interrupt me about anything is because you know how insane this is, and you're not willing to be real with people about your real, ridiculous, unusual, insane views.
Some evidence to support why it's insane.
I'm here to give you advice on how to be a more authentic and real content creator, okay? Just say it. Just say it one time. I believe that all men and women should be celibate until marriage. Just say it one time.
I already said it 2 times.
Just say it one time so I can hear you say it.
I believe, Shiva Kaila Shambho, that men and women should be celibate before marriage. Goodbye, liberal. Goodbye, lib.
All right, everybody. So me and Miss Hung, we're gonna head out and check out see about getting the bike and buying the bike. So we'll see you all later. Take care. Be well. Be happy. Be peaceful. And may we all be at peace. May we all be kind. May we all be the conflict stopper in our own mind and in our own heart, moment by moment and breath by breath. Okay, take care, everyone. See you soon.